Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. We are seeing a lot of headlines that look like this. Ripple expands its product Xrapid, XRP, to gain more adoption. I think this is because Brad Garlinghouse spoke in front of the who's who in banking in Switzerland, and it was revealed that there is yet another new corridor using XRP. So Brazil and the Philippines and now Argentina, they are all tapping into that XRP liquidity. Let me just read you a little bit of this article. It goes on to say that Ripple has been doing great so far this year, and after the bulls, all the company's achievements and the fact that XRP adoption has been intensifying are expected to boost the price of XRP even more. Not too long ago, we reported that after an extended stagnant period for XRP, the price for Ripple's digital asset has exploded. It had total gains of about 20%, and it managed to outperform every top 100 coins in 24-hour gains. So, wow, that gives you a little bit of an update on the pricing. And for stories in Japan, this one is being circulated a lot today, and that is the People's Bank of China recently lowered the benchmark exchange rate against the dollar, and they did so actually in a big way last Wednesday, and it dropped to $6.86, and it continues to fall. So Chinese investors are increasingly exchanging the renminbi for BTC in search of a safe haven. And the rise of Bitcoin is being attributed to this, and especially it got started on May 10th when Trump announced the tariffs were going to go from 10% to 25%. So this is very, very plausible, I think. And also, this story is circulating a lot too in Japan because Japan has negative interest rates. If you are aware of that, you will probably be surprised to learn that it is not working. So this was a policy that was adopted back in January 2016, and it was an effort to meet the 2% inflation rate. So the Prime Minister Abe has been trying to get this policy to work, but it hasn't. And now we have learned that 70% of the regional banks are in, nearly all of them are in the red. They're losing profits, and it looks like this model is going to collapse. The Bank of Japan, the BOJ, basically charges banks 0.1% on a small portion of their reserves. So it is costing these smaller banks somewhere in the neighborhood of $849 million in lost interest since the policy was implemented. And it just goes to show that this business model is not viable. So the financial results for the regional banks in Japan have been tabulated, and the income decreased 70%. It's just really a very difficult situation for these regional banks. The banks are basically lending at zero interest rates, and couple that with the declining population. The revenue model of lending and receiving interest is just not viable under this policy. And did you get a chance to watch the 60-minute 60 Minutes program with Anderson Cooper about Bitcoin? Yeah, I was kind of unfortunately sorry to see they used Charlie Shrem as the face for Bitcoin, and I thought that was not a good choice. But the best part of this actually is what is the 60 Minutes overtime. Now, these are portions of the video that were edited out, and I think it's better than the original show. So I'm going to put a link to it down in the description below, and I really think you'll enjoy watching this much more than you did the 13 minutes of the final edited version of the program. And we have another preparation meeting going on here for the G20 that is going to take place in Osaka, Japan. The General Pre-Summit Think tank session is going to take place on June 1st, and Tokyo is determined to convince the G20 to commit to cryptocurrency regulations. So all these exchanges, they think, should toe the line, meaning they want to end all forms of unregulated trading. The Financial Service Agency, or FSA as it's known in Japan, issues licenses, and the exchanges must abide by a strict set of rules. And those rules can also include unannounced spot checks and unannounced audits. So I don't know how successful Tokyo is going to be, but they believe that in doing so, it is also going to help in money laundering, and especially this chance for a lot of rogue states to be funded with cryptocurrency. So they are bringing to this meeting a big manual of case studies, and Tokyo's very aware that people can go overseas. I mean, look at CZ. Binance was in Tokyo before he moved to Malta. And it was because CZ really didn't want to jump through all those hoops. But if it's a start, they think, in getting the G20 to adopt these strict guidelines, it is, I guess, the first step in getting it to roll out all over in all parts of the world. Although I don't believe that can ever be totally done with every country, because we're always going to have countries that invite unregulated businesses like the Cayman Islands or Gibraltar, or not Gibraltar. Is it Gibraltar? Yeah, I think Gibraltar is another hot spot, and there are enough countries out there to take the exchanges who want to operate without regulation. But I do think that Japan is going to give it its best effort in getting the G20 to follow the same guidelines that Japan does. All right, I had tweeted out that nobody covers XRP like Hodor, and I really do believe that, especially after reading his most current blog. I'll tell you, there is so much that goes on in this space, it's hard to keep up with it. And I think I do a pretty good job, but even I learned many new things that have occurred that slipped under the radar for me with the news about XRP. So if you really want to get an amazing recap of the week of news, I'm going to put a link to Hodor's blog down in the description below. And look at this. As I am showing the, well, it should be moving. My coil should be moving for Hodor. Should be sending him lots of, oh, here we go. It's moving. Yeah, there we go. So isn't that fun? It's really fun for me to see that as a subscriber to Coil, that when I am on sites that have the pointer, that I can actually contribute to the content maker. It just feels great. I'm telling you, it feels great. I hope everybody gives Coil their $5 a month and goes on to the sites that are enabled to receive these micropayments. I really am wholeheartedly behind this Coil business model. Okay, everybody, we are jumping to the fluff. And today's fluff is about a rare white killer whale that was photographed off Hokkaido on the 17th. Now, it's not the first time it's been spotted, and I think it is the same one that was spotted in 2014 and also 2010. And there is a pod that has this white orca whale, the killer whale, and it's very rare, of course, and they have nicknamed it Iceberg. And I think it's so cute. This is off the straits in an area on the north part of Hokkaido Island. Let me show you a map. So here's Tokyo, here's Osaka, where the G20 will be held, and this is the northern island called Hokkaido, and this area where the pod of orcas are often seen are right in these straits here, and this is the town called Rausu. Rausu is an Ainu word. Ainu are the native people to Japan that were here for thousands of years before they have now been really pushed into a small community up in the Hokkaido area. But there are some words, of course, that are used that have been adopted. And in this area, if you want to see the most beautiful nature in Japan, this is the place to go. You can take tours and see tens of thousands of seabirds. There are sea lions, there are orca, there are sperm whales, there are dolphins. You can go out on the water for these tours. And I think there's about 300 orca that live in this area here, and there are 180 sperm whale. So the peninsula, let me just take you to a website that has some beautiful photography of this area. Here is the actual town, and it's only a population of 5,000 people. It's very small, but the peninsula was designated an UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is just really, really beautiful. So this is the area. You can see the snow-capped mountains, and there is one of the orca. This is a really great website because it's by a woman who actually does the tours up there. And her name is Erica. And Erica has the best photography from, I'm sure, a lot of the tours that she has led. Look at that. Look at those seabirds with the whales. Wow. It's really quite amazing. I love this photograph here, taken from the top of the boat. And yeah, she has a nice blog about why she is up there and talks about her tours. Her tours are, what are they, 2 to 3 hours long, and you can do them for as low as $35 for children and up to around $70 for adults. So anyway, if you are interested in seeing the sea nature, this is where you want to go. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.